inside the cabin of the plane that began to lower the altitude towards the airport in Switzerland, the atmosphere felt different. There was an excitement that was difficult to hide from the two figures sitting side by the window. Jungkook and Taehyung seemed to stare out, watching the scenery of the Alps slowly emerging behind the white clouds. The light of the afternoon sun reflected on the snow, creating a panorama that made both of them silent for a moment, as if they did not want to miss a second of that moment. Taehyung was the first to break the silence. With sparkling eyes, he pointed out the window and said, "Jungkook, look at that. It's like a painting." Jungkook put his face to the window, then chuckled in amazement. "I can't believe we're really here," he said. His tone sounded a mix of happy, nervous, and enthusiastic. Taehyung smiled broadly, then pulled out his phone to record the scene. He moved the camera slowly, trying to capture every detail of the mountains, and occasionally pointed the camera at Jungkook's excited face. Their conversation flowed lightly, full of small laughs and spontaneous comments. Jungkook joked that he wanted to get off the plane straight away and make snowmen, although it was clear they were still wearing thin clothes. Taehyung chimes in that Jungkook will definitely be cold in the first 5 minutes, making Jungkook laugh out loud. "Young, this time I'm ready. I brought a thick jacket," he said, pointing to a small bag under his chair. Behind the excitement, there was also a clear sense of relief. Taehyung let out a long sigh and said that the long journey was finally almost over. He admitted that he felt tired, but the joy of seeing Switzerland made all the fatigue seem to evaporate. Jungkook nodded in agreement, saying that the scenery outside made him feel like he was in a dream. "This is one of those moments that I want to remember for a long time," he said sincerely. The seatbelt light came on, and the captain's voice was heard announcing that the plane was about to land. Jungkook spontaneously patted Taehyung's arm with enthusiasm. "Young, we're almost there," he said, his voice a little higher than usual. Taehyung laughed, nodded quickly, then said, calm down. We're adults now." But the expression on his face showed just as much joy. They began to tidy up small items around the chair. Jungkook makes sure his phone and earphones fit in the bag, while Taehyung folds the thin blanket that Jungkook was wearing. The little gestures felt so natural, showing a closeness that was not made up. Jungkook thanks slowly, then jokes that Taehyung is now like a parent taking care of his child. Taehyung replies with a feigned expression of annoyance, making Jungkook laugh again. The plane shook slightly as it began to enter a thicker layer of clouds. Jungkook reflexively grabbed the armrest, then glanced at Taehyung. Taehyung patted the back of Jungkook's hand gently, saying that everything was fine. Jungkook nodded, smiled a little, then looked back out the window. Between the clouds, the snowy mountain peaks were again visible, getting clearer and closer. Their conversation then turned to plans upon arrival in Switzerland. Taehyung said he wanted to take a leisurely walk around the hotel and breathe some fresh air. Jungkook immediately added that he wanted to take as many photos as possible, especially at sunset. He also joked that he would force Taehyung to be his photo model. Taehyung raised an eyebrow, pretended to object, then said, "If the picture is good, I agree." Jungkook laughed and said that he would give his best pose as well. They imagined themselves standing in the snow, laughing, and enjoying a short free time between busy schedules. Taehyung said it was moments like these that made him feel grateful to be part of the group. Jungkook looked at her seriously for a moment, then nodded, saying that he felt the same way. There was a comfortable pause of silence between them. Taehyung leaned his head against the back of the chair, closing his eyes briefly, as if he wanted to save energy for the moment after landing. Jungkook stays awake, stares out the window, then glances at Taehyung with a small smile. The gaze was full of warmth and companionship, away from the glare of cameras and the hustle and bustle of the outside world. As the plane drew closer to the runway, the sound of wheels preparing was faint. Jungkook again felt a little adrenaline rush in his chest. He leaned toward Taehyung and said quietly, "Hyung, I'm really glad we can take this trip together." Taehyung opened his eyes, looked at Jungkook, then smiled softly. "Me too. It will be a great memory," he replied. The wheels of the plane finally touched the runway with a slight shake. Small applause was heard from some of the passengers. Jungkook spontaneously smiled broadly, then turned to Taehyung. They exchanged glances without words, yet clearly sharing a common feeling: joy, relief, and enthusiasm for whatever lay ahead. The plane drove slowly towards the apron. Jungkook took a deep breath, then said that he couldn't wait to feel the cold Swiss air. Taehyung laughs and reminds her to put on a thick jacket before going out. Jungkook nods, then jokes that if he forgets, Taehyung will have to lend him his jacket. Taehyung replies that he will, but Jungkook has to treat himself to Swiss chocolate instead. In the last moments before the plane came to a complete stop, Jungkook grabbed his phone and photographed the view of the airport against the backdrop of the mountains. He showed the photo to Taehyung, who immediately praised how beautiful it was. Jungkook smiled proudly, then said that the photo would be the opening of their Travel Memories album this time. When the seatbelt lights finally went out, Jungkook stood up first and took their small bags from the upper compartment. He handed over Taehyung's bag with a bright smile. Taehyung thanks him, then jokes that Jungkook looks too excited. Jungkook shrugged, saying that he couldn't hide his excitement. They walked along the aisle of the plane with other passengers. Jungkook occasionally makes small jumps because he is too excited, making Taehyung laugh and telling him to walk slowly so as not to slip. The moment looks so natural and full of positive energy. Some of the cabin crew who recognized them smiled politely, saying welcome to Switzerland. As the plane doors opened and the cold Swiss air greeted them, Jungkook immediately let out a long sigh. "It's cold but fresh," he said. Taehyung nodded, pulling his jacket closer. "It really feels like a vacation," he said. They stood for a moment at the door of the plane, staring at the scene in front of them, as if eager to absorb every detail. Amid the entourage of staff and bodyguards, Jungkook and Taehyung walked side by side. Jungkook said that he hopes this trip gives him new inspiration for music. Taehyung replies that he wants to write some notes or poems about what they saw and felt in Switzerland. Jungkook smiled and said that maybe one day they will remember this trip as a source of inspiration for their next major work. Their pace slowed as they approached the airport bus. Taehyung turned to Jungkook and said sincerely that he was happy to see Jungkook so happy. Jungkook replied with a warm smile, saying that his happiness increased from being able to share this moment with Taehyung. Without any superfluous words, the two got on the bus, sat down side by side again, and looked out the window again. The majestic Alps continued to accompany their short journey towards the terminal. Jungkook pressed his forehead against the window glass, still unable to hide his amazement. Taehyung smiled at that expression, then said quietly, "We're really lucky, yeah?" Jungkook nodded, then replied, "Yes, Hyung, and I want to enjoy every second of it." Their joy is not just about arriving in Switzerland, but about being together, about the long journey they have traveled together, and about all the little memories they continue to accumulate. Amidst the chill of the mountain air and the tranquility of the Swiss airport, Jungkook and Taehyung stepped forward with light hearts, full of hope